Okay, hello and welcome back to the Fifth Tile Podcast. I'm Jay Shalansky, and joining me is Evan Boris.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going indeed, my young sir?
Indeed.
Yeah, so we're back live this week. We had a little hiatus last week because we had a delay with our Legion podcast, The Notorious Scoundrels, and Evan had to sub in for us, and we did it on the same night as we did this podcast. So we dug deep into the vault and got out our Bushido interview, which was a great interview. Evan and I had a lot of fun doing that one, and that was actually a while ago that we did that interview. Truth be told, I'm sure you guys could tell by some of the references on there because I don't think Mando and the Child had been released yet for Legion, and
Yeah,
and you
no,
had
yeah.
I think you brought it up as something like you were waiting for. Um, but yeah, so that was our Bushido interview, and now Evan and I are back, and we're here to talk games and I mean, really, whatever else you guys want to talk about. Feel free to put questions in the chat here if you're on Twitch or YouTube with us live. And for those of you listening to the playback, we're live most Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so, yeah. So welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, Evan. How you been, buddy? How's
Uh,
things?
Not bad. How about yourself?
I'm good. Yeah, we've got a lot going on at the Fifth Trooper. For those of you that may not know us from our other stuff, we do a lot of Legion content. We have a magazine that comes out monthly for Legion now. We've got the blog. We've got two podcasts. We have the Notorious Scoundrels and the Fifth Trooper podcast, which I'm the host on Scoundrels, and Evan's the host on the Fifth Trooper. And yeah, it's been good. We've got a lot going on, and we have Adepticon coming up in a couple weeks,
Dude.
a week and a half actually, I think.
Okay.
So
Dude, I remember seeing the Adepticon like countdown logo and it was like, like 136 days or something. I'm like, sure, I got forever, and now
yeah,
I'm flip-flopping on like Legion lists and it's like this month.
yep.
Right? I need to have this painted, built and like ready to go, so I'm like sweating bullets trying to get
I mean,
that ready.
are you really you think it's a good idea? Okay. I know our policy is not to talk a ton of Legion on this
Right.
podcast, but I think this is kind of a topic for all gaming, right?
Yep.
Do you believe that you should play something new because of where the meta's at today, or do you believe that you should play something that you know really, really well?
Um, so it's always the second option, right?
Yeah.
Uh, but I got tabled with that against one of the current good things,
Yeah.
so it like wasn't a game. So it's like I'm honestly I've resigned that I'm not going to win worlds. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna be myself.
Yep.
I'm gonna play Luke and Chewie so I can play their one pip common cause that no one plays that card, so I can get some gotchas like I remember this wave 3, yeah. Uh and just like have a good time and just go for it. I've got that alt Luke somewhere. Uh so it's like I'll just make a cool looking Hoth army
Yep.
like I used to, like back way before Hoth was a thing. And then I'll go have fun and just resign that like I'm not willing to play the good
Yep.
stuff just because I'm no thanks, kind of tired of it. So I'm just gonna have fun with what I've got. Maybe I'll get best faction. Like that's my like
Yeah.
that's not bad,
Well,
right? Like
as a positive, Evan, I'm pretty sure I have all of that painted. So if you're running up
oh, even
against
better.
the wire,
Oh,
I
thank God.
because I was running a Echo Base list, and I had four FDs, three vets, three MKs. I have Luke,
Yeah.
Han, Leia, Chewie all painted. So I
Perfect.
have everything painted. So
Do you
um,
have the alt Luke painted, the snow one?
no, I don't have the snow one
All right,
painted.
that's fine. I can
I have
handle
the
that. I
other
can
I
handle
have the
one
other
model.
two. I have the operative Luke and Commander Luke painted.
I can handle one model if that's
Yeah.
the case. But actually, so to jump away from Legion,
Yeah.
but still stay Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yo, have you been seeing that Star Wars deck building game?
I saw some of it. I mean, I haven't really been paying too much attention to it, but It's by FFG,
Fantasy
right?
Flight. Yeah. It was like this was strange. So it got announced the like after Gen Con ended, like the hour after Gen Con ended, they announced this brand new game, which everyone thought was like really strange.
Yeah.
That you didn't even show it at the biggest event of the year or talk about it. Um, and so it's finally, I believe it's out. It's a number one on BGG's hotness uh, charts, which is pretty
Hmm.
big. I mean, big things come, they hit the hotness, and they kind of trickle down as time goes on. Like the staying power of certain things, like Gloomhaven,
Yeah.
is something to be like. That was on the hotness for like 5 years. Not
Yeah.
five,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
long time. It was like 2 years or something. It was a very long time. But this just came out, and someone looks like they on BGG they spoiled it, but it's the okay, they've had the English. Looked like it was all like French French cards, but it's yeah, actually Commander KCQ. It's like I'm down with like it just being like Star Wars Star Realms,
Well,
right? Like
I'll tell
that's
you
cool.
what. You know what? I for Commander KCQ and you, Evan, I've been kind of holding off pulling the trigger, but you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and order it, and I'll put it in stock on the website. So
Cool.
that'll be ready to go tomorrow. So I'll get a copy. And then for
Yeah.
anybody who's listening, if you guys want to buy it, thefifthtrooper.com will have it up Thursday the 9th of March. So the heck with it.
The heck,
Let's
heck
do it.
it.
Heck it. Let's do
Uh,
it.
but and like it looks like $40. It's a pretty reasonable price, asking price for it. It looks like I don't know. I'm like studying my words. I don't mean to,
Yeah.
but I need to play it to actually get a like feel for it. But right now it's holding an 8.0 on
Hey.
BGG.
Yeah.
That's really big. That's super cool. Like I was afraid that they didn't like talk about Gen Con because maybe it's
Mm.
bad and they don't want anyone to like it's Star Wars. You'll buy it, you whales.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
clowns. But then it came out and it like looks like the initial reception is it's actually pretty good. So
Nice.
I mean like for $40, like
Yeah. Deck building games are good.
yeah, like they got a lot of replayability. Looks like they got like I'm sure there'll be expansions 'cause that's just what FFG
Yep.
does. But
Oh,
they've got like the big
that's all deck building games, right? Like
yeah
that's the whole like what Dominion, right? The
yeah
the big boy deck building game. It was like it just keeps going, and you have to get this big case with all these compartments to just like fit all the
yeah oh absolutely
expansions, you know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's that kind of caught my eye, and I remember to like keep my mind on it. But now finally like it's out, and I need to give it a shot because I'm always down for a deck builder
Yeah.
because I I love Magic. In that Lord of the Rings Magic set, have you seen anything for that?
I have. Yeah, I was looking at some of that. It looks interesting.
I'm like not I don't jump into Magic sets that much anymore
Yeah.
just because I have a problem.
Right.
So I have to like
Yeah.
reel in my like
Dude, I'm with you. I can't. I am 100% with you. I can't get into Magic again because I legitimately have 50,000 cards, and
Oh, yeah. I've seen it confirmed.
yeah, I cannot get back into that drug again because I won't stop.
Yeah, you can't. I can't stop.
I
You
can't stop. Like,
me.
well, and so just so everybody knows, like the 50,000, it sounds like a big number. It's not because what happened was, we went to Jeremy and I went to a store, and they just had racks and racks of like, hey, buy any 3 cards for like 10 cents in this pile. Buy any 3 for like $5 or like
Yeah.
by rarity, and we were like, well, how much for all of them? Like there was they had
Yeah.
just these huge things of them, and the guy gave us a number, and we're like, yeah, that's like I think at the time it was like 3 cases or something, and we're
Yeah.
like, yeah, we'll split it, so it's like a couple $100, and so I literally bought 30 or 40,000 like Magic cards in like one go from like some store. Yeah, I still have them all too. Like, and yeah, that's a bad. Dude, I was obsessed with standard Friday night
Yeah.
Magic. I would go. I was getting hyper competitive. I was winning. I was doing like standard tournaments in the area. Like it was getting real bad. And then yeah, I got kind of burnt out, and I was getting too into it, so I had to go to like D&D. That was
Yeah,
like,
just to,
you
like,
know, a not
curb some of the
competitive.
purchasing.
Yeah, just like, okay, let's just have fun.
It's it's like it's a Friday Night Magic's like a vibe, right?
Yeah.
It's like you go hang out with your friends. I like standard, 'cause the power level is kind of like reasonable.
Yeah.
I played modern, so it was how it was explained to. It's like standards like skirmishes, like knife fights, and then like moderns like machine guns, like
Yep.
the next level up, and then like legacies like nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
So it's like depending on how you want to play. And I really liked modern a lot. I played Eldrazi Tron for a while. That was kind of big, but yeah, I have a problem with card games because you bought into you used to do a thing for Weiss, not Weiss Schwartz, then that kind of like anime card game, uh,
Oh,
Force of Will.
yeah, Force of Will. Yeah, I got into that heavy too. Yeah.
And I really like Force of Will too.
Yeah.
That was really good. And then
Yep.
that like the problem with Force of Will, they put out too much product too quick,
Yep.
and then they didn't really balance it. So I remember one tournament, it was like the top 8 was the same. You picked like a hero to lead your deck, was like the same hero and the same deck,
Yeah.
and that's toxic. Like your game is destroyed, right? If it's just one thing, it's just the best.
Yeah,
Don't play
because
anything else.
it got crazy quick because like Force of Will. So I was playing that competitively too, and actually I had won a couple tournaments with that. But I was running a website and also selling it on TCG Player, and I just like was like, oh, this is the next Magic, and so like I was buying cases and like busting down cases and selling like cards and then I noticed that like they were coming out with new sets like really quick, and then what was it, Lancelot and like King Arthur, they said
Oh
they
yeah,
weren't
yeah.
going to reprint that because they put it in that like
Box.
one of the dueling decks, and then they were like, hey, we're not going to reprint these, and then like two sets later they were like, hey, we're reprinting all the like round table, and it was like all the prices just took a nosedive as soon as they did that, and then they started doing like the foil variants, and then like, dude, and it was just getting out of hand, and like and then the other thing we were noticing, and I think a lot of other people noticed too, was the count was off. So for those of you that don't know, when you're selling Magic cards or Force of Will or any of these, like, or Yu-Gi-Oh or anything like that, right? You have kind of like odds of rarities within a case. So like if you buy a case of Magic cards, you know that there's a really solid chance that you'll get at least like one mythic, one rare, and that you could make up your money off of that case just on those cards alone, just based on how mathematically they put them into packs. And so Force of Will, but I think it was I want to say the second or third set, it started becoming apparent that they were overprinting one of these foils. I think it was like Red Riding Hood.
Yeah.
And like all of a sudden I was seeing a lot of them, and then like you saw in the market, like it was starting at like, it was like $150 card, and then all of a sudden it was like 120, and then it was 90, and then it was 70, and it was like, uh-oh, you know.
Yeah,
So it's like,
you're watching the trend go bad. Yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah. God. Let's see. I think we talked about it a couple episodes ago, but I got into the Warhammer, card game there, hard.
Oh yeah, Conquest. Right?
Conquest. Yeah, I was hard into that. I was hard into Keyforge.
Dude, Keyforge, man, what a story!
Dude, do you
What a
remember
wild story.
the first event that we went to as when we had the Fifth Trooper podcast was PAX Unplugged.
Yep.
And they launched Keyforge there, remember? And they had the pods and everything. Oh man, that was an amazing time. I loved playing that game in those pods and like getting a new deck and trying to, oh man, that was so good. But yeah, card games are super addicting.
It's the perfect pickup convention game. Like you go, hey, $10 you get to play and you get a deck.
Yeah.
And so you get it and you just open it up and play it, and everyone's playing a brand new deck. and then it ends, and then you can just do it again and again and again and again. Like it was genius. I
Yeah.
wish they didn't kill it. I
Well,
wish that, like all that bad stuff didn't happen.
and I think that's why, like this, to like bring us back, the Star Wars deck building game. That's why deck building games are okay for me because it's not a continual buy. Like I have to buy new packs or
Yeah.
new this all like every couple weeks. It's just oh okay. There's a expansion out. Great, I'll get that. And now you have everything. Like that's it. You
Yeah.
have everything.
Dude, an expansion like every 3 months,
Yeah.
it's fine. Make it like $30.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Dude.
I get to open some new cards.
Just so you guys, this is how bad my addiction was. Like with the Warhammer Conquest, I had the subscription with Team Covenant where they just sent
Oh,
just
yeah.
sent you the monthly pack. Like I had like 2 of those subscriptions with them to just send me like 2 or 3 packs every month. Like I didn't even care. Like yeah, send it. Like let's go.
Yeah.
But I was playing a ton of tournaments with that too, and I was doing pretty well. Yeah, it's wild. Card
That
games
was
are wild.
man, they had a really cool like Team Covenant had a cool thing with that, right? That's
Yeah.
a good idea. Like especially when you can latch onto a game, you make the content for the game
Oh yeah,
because you like the game, and then you sell the game. Like it's a
and
whole
then they
like,
made amazing tokens for
Yeah.
that, and like Netrunner too. They
Yeah,
did that.
oh, man.
Yeah,
pour one out for the
dude, Netrunner was so good. I loved that game too.
I thought I heard somebody bought the license. Maybe making comeback question mark. Don't know for sure though.
I can't remember if I heard that or if you told me that.
I
It's-
definitely haven't told you that, so you might
Okay.
have heard it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so Star Wars card game looks cool. We'll try it out. We'll probably play it.
I'm gonna put it in stock, boys. It'll be up tomorrow. So hopefully,
Perfect.
I actually, while we were talking, I literally just ordered it from the supplier. So it should be here in a couple days, and then yeah, we'll start selling it. The heck with it.
We should do a let's play of it.
Heck
You know
yeah.
what? So you're going to Adepticon, right?
Listen, not only am I going to Adepticon, not the Fifth Trooper but Game Uplink. If you guys haven't had a chance, we have a tournament software called Game Uplink. We've been running Legion events off of it, and at Adepticon, we're going to be hopefully launching the next version of it, which is ideally all games will be able to play on our tournament software. And so we'll have a booth at Adepticon for Game Uplink. So yes, I will be at Adepticon.
Adepticon. Okay, so first question.
Yeah.
Are you playing any games there, or are you just working the booth?
Yeah, this is tricky, right? It's just Rachel, my wife, for those of you new to us, and I working the booth. But I've already explained to her that I'll need to like go.
Disappear. Fade into the shadows.
I call it networking. But I plan on playing Onslaught,
Yep.
and I do have time for like to go play other games too. So
Cool. Okay, so
yep, hit me.
there's a game I always wanted to play, and it's finally gonna. They finally said, hey, we're gonna be at Nova.
Oh, yep.
So Nova Open. We're actually like they're doing like a mini tournament. They're doing what my favorite thing ever that I haven't seen done since Dark Age miniature game was they're doing a build and like learn and build. So you go up, it's like $8, or then you buy a starter,
Okay.
and then you build it with a bunch of other people, and you're all kind of like talking about the models and building them, and then they teach you how to play. Then you do a mini like new person tournament where you just do like 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And no one really knows what's going on. You know, you're pushing miles around. So the game's called Arena Rex,
All right.
and it's a I want to say like low fantasy arena fighter, like Roman Coliseum fighter. And by low fantasy, I mean there's like gorgons and like monsters, but you're all like gladiators. You're not like wizards or right. Like it's like reminds me of like Conan the Barbarian,
Yeah.
where it's like magic's kind of a big deal because you see a guy like in the end of the movie he's just like using all of his power to like lift a rock, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
holy crap, like, oh god, he's a wizard, you know, like so it's kind of low fantasy, but
Oh
it-
man, yeah. Is this the game that it's basically looks like Shatterpoint copied?
yeah, dude, for real. I just saw the Shatterpoint demo. Yes, I will be trying the Shatterpoint demo.
Yeah.
Yeah, this like they have the damage. So they haven't talked about how Shatterpoint damage works, but I'm assuming they took the Arena Rex one where it's you start with like there's like symbols. It's like either like a number which is damage or an arrow which is like a push.
Yep.
And how it works is there's like, let's say because every character it's always a 4-up to succeed, and it says you attack with 6, you roll 6 dice, you get 3 successes, and the defender has a 2 for defense, so they roll 2 dice, and any 4-ups a success for defense for them, and you cancel it out. Then however many successes are left is what you do.
I think I can. Let me
pull it up.
Yeah, let me see. Keep going.
Yeah, so I'm moving my screen over so I can see on the other screen here. So it's and let's say you get like 3. Let's say you totally get like 3 successes or something. You go to the tree, so I do 3 damage, and then it comes to a crossroad. You can do more damage,
There we go.
or you can push them. And you're like, okay, I want to do more damage, and then you do that, and then it might be another crossroad of like, do you want to push,
Yeah.
or do you want to get like a glory from the crowd? And that's the game. And like, so the game's to be set up on like, it plays like the mat they sell is like a 3x3, but it's really meant to be played a little bit smaller. And a lot of it's like you're supposed to have some terrain around so you can push people into pillars or push them into pits that they just auto die. Because it's just meant to be like, a gladiator arena. It's meant to be quick.
So for those of you watching, I have it up. So here's the damage tree. It looks awful familiar.
It looks real familiar. The factions are kind of cool. Like I'm doing the Greek faction. My buddy's doing the Roman faction. It's really quick. It's like characters you can do multiple things with them in a row. But if you do, they get fatigued, and then how fatigued you are is like, can you react if someone charges you or something? But yeah, that's a damage tree. Actually, it's good.
So here, here's a character damage tree, move 5.
If you go to if you go to any of the factions and you just pick like Ludus.
Yep.
And you grab one. It shows what's kind of cool is all the rules and all the like information for all these characters is just free. So you can just play this with like cardboard cutouts and not buy the game at all, which I think is very righteous of them to do that.
I have to say
that, like,
the models are beautiful though. Jeez Louise.
And what's cool about the models is each army only has like 6 guys total.
Yeah.
So if you want a whole army, you're only in like saying like like $150 is not nothing, but like for a miniature game to have all your options for $150, it's pretty good.
I mean, this is part of like what is interesting about Shatterpoint as well, right? Is that it's really what is it, like 4 or 5 models? I think.
Shatterpoint's going to be each. You bring 2 squads. Looks like it's about 6 models.
6, yeah. But yeah, these models look. God, they look beautiful.
So what's cool about the game is there's no point system either. It's just how many models you bring. Some models have stages, like the bull you're looking at. Like he can be hit, he can be downed once and he gets back up.
Okay.
But normally a model is just one model is 1 point, and so if you just both want to play with 2 starter sets, it's just a 3 model game.
Is this Roman looking or maybe Spartan looking guy riding a giant lizard?
Oh, dude, yeah. I think that might be my guy. He's got the trident on the back.
He's got a spear.
Okay. There's another. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He looks like the. There's a bit of a lag on the stream.
Oh, yeah.
But it's that looks like the Obi-Wan lizard.
Yeah.
Right. Like.
So the interesting thing is, it looks like the models. I'm basing this off of the images I'm seeing. Is that it looks like the creatures can be mounted or not mounted based on how they have it set up. Yeah.
Yep. The hero can get on or off it. And what's kind of cool is there's this animals, just like a bull, a rhino. You can take just the lizard, and they're just a neutral. You can play them as just a neutral enemy.
Oh yeah, Leo the lion. Yep.
He was just fighting you, so you're like, while you're both fighting each other, like a lion jumps in the pit.
Yeah, it's like Gladiator.
Yeah. So it's like it really has my attention. The rules are pretty easy. The game looks like it's pretty quick. The models are really cool. They're very like. Everything's free. Even when you watch their demos, like their early demo, they're just using paper cutouts of the models because they didn't have them yet. It's really like, I really respect that they're just like, hey, here's everything.
Yeah.
Just go for it, right? For a small game company. Like, it's one thing for everything for Legion to be, free because they're a big boy. They'll know you'll get it. But for like a little company like this, is like one of my favorite characters is his lore is like he's a Greek philosopher, but also he was like a Greco-Roman wrestler.
Yeah.
And so he goes in naked because that's how he fought, and like the old used to fight naked.
It's funny. I didn't want to say anything. As I was on the homepage, they've got like really beautiful illustrations of the characters, and they literally just have a naked dude on there. And I was like, okay, get past that real quick. Get banned on stream. Jeez.
He's done. You're done. Well, it's art, Jay. It survives on YouTube as long as it's art.
It sure is. As someone who took 4 years of art school and went to studio art, boy, do I know about naked dudes just coming in for you to draw and paint.
So it's he's got like more hit points because he doesn't have high armor, but he can like, throw people around. So it's I'm really excited for the game because I signed up for a tournament.
Dude, I'm in the demo. I'm in for the demo.
Yeah. There's a tournament at Adepticon that I signed up for, and then there's Nova will be the Nova Open's gonna have Learn to Play, like a beginners tournament, and then an actual tournament for it. And it seems like one of those like cool miniature games that doesn't have like a real big following yet. So you kind of go in and like kind of just hang out, and like everyone's really chill because they're just happy to be there. They're happy to have a tournament. We're like, yeah, hey, wasn't here last year. Like this is great.
Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, I'm excited about Adepticon. Like I said, we've got the booth. We're going to be talking about the software. Also, for those of you listening, if you want to know more about Onslaught, on Friday at Adepticon, I'm actually doing a live Q&A with Alex Davey, Travis, and Nick, the developers and creative director from WizKids. And so we're doing a live Q&A, and I'll be moderating, hosting that, and you guys can come learn about Onslaught, ask your questions, and potentially win. One person will be chosen to walk away with a box of Onslaught from the Q&A. So
that's sick. I'm very upset that the Star Wars Legion tournament, the World Tournament's on the same day.
Listen, don't get me wrong. I love Legion. I really do. Yeah. I'm having troubles with it today. Actually, this whole month, the last maybe month and a half, I've been struggling with it. But I do love the game overall. But my whole issue that I've been having with it and struggling is like, if I go to a tournament of any value, like Worlds or Gen Con or something, like any tournament that's doing the structure right is at least 2 days. So I'm out 2 days. So like, it just sucks because you and I mean, obviously we have this podcast, right? There's so many other games that you and I love and want to play and want to get involved in, and it's just like Legion. When you go to a tournament, it eats your
whole tournament.
Yeah, it's actually your whole tournament.
The funny you say that. So I signed up for Nova,
or your whole event, right?
And it's like, so I'll be there. Usually we go down Wednesday, and it's like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, leave Monday kind of thing. And then I remember, so I signed up, and usually Nova was one heat, and so either did Saturday or you did Friday.
Yeah.
And then you could play other games, and so I signed up, and I signed up for Arena Rex, like everything for Arena Rex. I'm like, give me all of it. I'm in. And then I looked at my schedule and it showed 2 days. And I'm like, oh, something must have happened. Obviously, something must have happened. I didn't buy 2 tickets. So I emailed Hob, and Hob was our judge at Du Bois, also in the Discord. Very good judge. And he's like, good no, dude. Man, we got, it's going to be a 2-day event. 6 games. So I applaud that. I'm getting for $45, I get 6 games. That I applaud. I just wish it wasn't on a big event where there's other stuff going on. Because I really want to play Arena Rex.
Well, right? I mean, look at any... Okay, all right. Let me paint you a picture. You're a Legion player who does not have your Worlds invite. Okay?
Yep.
You play Thursday at the Last Chance qualifier. It is 8 a.m. to 7 p.m.
That's a long day.
You win. You make the cut.
Yeah.
You now play Friday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. You make the cut again because you're pretty good at Legion. Oh, guess what other day you play? Saturday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. The floor is open 10 a.m. to 6.
Yep. You're not going to the floor.
So if you're good at Legion, good enough to make Saturday, which I think is going to be 64.
Yep.
Or somewhere close to that, right? Don't quote me
Yeah.
on that. It's close to that. I think it's 64. You have maybe Sunday if you don't make it into the top 4 or 8 or whatever it's going to be for Sunday.
And then
So-
by that time, everything's sold out.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're just
Right, and let's say
baking
you're not
balls.
so for you guys at home, my co-host on Notorious Scoundrels is probably one if not the top 1 or 2,
the top, if not top 3.
right,
Yeah.
best player in the world at Legion. Kyle, if you're Kyle, you're going because it's Worlds. You're not going for anything else, right? Like Kyle is going because it's Adepticon, it's Worlds. That's what he's going for. He's going to win Worlds. That's his weekend, right? But if you're not Kyle, you're just somebody who likes Legion and you're halfway decent. I would put you in this category.
Yeah.
You like Legion, you're halfway decent at it, so you could make, if you didn't have an invite already, you could have gone in Thursday and gone all the way through Saturday. You did it at Adepticon last year, and by the last day you were like, yo, I've played 14 games. I'm done with this. I'm done with this game. Like, I remember you saying that to me. I'm like, yo, you got one more. Come on, man. You're going to make top. You're like, I don't even care anymore. Like, I hate this game right now. I hate this game. I hate you for bringing me. I hate this whole thing.
Yeah, I do remember just like
Yeah.
getting beat by the dude who won. He was Gorsh. He played. He was fine. He played like it was a good game.
Yeah.
I just screwed up. I lost, and like I didn't even care. I'm like, whatever, man. It's like I've played like 14 games of Legion this weekend. I haven't gotten to do anything.
Right.
And like, granted, Adepticon and Nova aren't like they're not Gen Con or PAX.
Right.
The real problem is when it's Gen Con or PAX.
Yeah.
Those are really cool events. But still, to your point, I walked around the stalls Sunday because I finally I got knocked out. I was having a bad day. My good friend Corey from Inglorious Blasters, we met each other on stream. Actually, we were playing, and we both got knocked out. And he's like, "Hey, buddy, want to go walk around some? I'll buy you a soda." And I'm like, "I could use a Dr. Pepper." So we like walked around and we bought a wrestling miniature game, and we actually had a really good time. But I'm like after like the oh man, I just lost, like, you know, mentality, everything kind of drained away from it. I'm like, oh yeah, conventions are fun, right? Yeah, like, oh yeah, this is like a good time to be here.
Well, the problem
not
is
just, like,
too, in that scenario, let's say you lose Saturday and you're out. You now only have Sunday. Half of the vendors, as being a vendor, are like tapped out by Sunday. They're like, yo, I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
Half my stuff is gone. Like, I don't care about this anymore. Like, that's when the vendors are tapped out. So, like, you're going around, like, trying to get, like, an enthusiastic demo of a game, and the guy's like, yeah, I'm done. I'm packing up at 3, and I'm driving home at 4, and I want to go home now, you know?
Yeah, I will, at that point, you're flying out, right?
No, we're driving.
Oh my God, you're driving. No, Jay.
We have to.
No. No, not again.
Well, so I'm bringing tables for Legion because they need them. And so I have 8 tables, plus I'm building a couple other ones for them for Legion. So we have our tables, we have all our booth stuff, and so and just price-wise,
you're breaking my heart right
shipping
now. Yeah, I get
and
it.
flying.
I
Oh,
get it.
dude, you think you're upset about it? You should talk to Rachel. She's real upset about it.
Yeah.
She was really
man.
wanting to fly and just, fly in there and have a nice time. And I'm like, yeah, we're driving. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'll at least it's just you and Rachel. Right?
Yeah. Just so just for the folks at home, it's a 13-hour, 12 to 13-hour drive. It's actually really like 11, but with Rachel in the car and having to stop, it's going to be 13 hours. But
It's brutal.
dude,
I
yeah,
remember
we
that
did
last
it. We
time
did
was
it.
like, yeah, we rented that van, my
Yeah,
guy. And
there's
we
4
drove,
of us.
It
Yeah.
was like a 16-hour drive after everything that happened. I
Yeah.
got out of the car. I'm like,
Yeah,
I hope this thing blows up.
the way there is always fine because it's just
Yeah.
like, your
You're
first
excited to
day, you're
party,
excited,
yeah.
you're on your way.
Day off
It's
from
coming
work.
back that's always the problem, right? And like we made Evan drive on the way back, which
Yeah.
was fine. It was his turn.
Yeah.
That wasn't the problem. The problem that Rachel and I were in such a mood that we were literally just harassing him the entire way home. Like, and he's like, I'm literally gonna crash this car. I'm like, do it. You won't do it. And he's like, you think I care? You guys are the ones with kids. We're like, do it, nerd. And he's like,
I think my quote was, "You guys got something to live for," and I got veered.
yeah.
Like,
Well, and
don't make me do
what had happened was I had done. That was what we streamed that entire weekend.
Yeah.
Evan,
I
you
was-
were like my cameraman and like my judge for the tables. I was literally on stream, what, 12, 13 hours a day for 4 days straight. And like,
was wild.
yeah, I mean, and we went all out. We had 2 tables we were streaming. We had 6 cameras. We had a whole thing going, and yeah, it was the first time I had ever done anything like that. And so, like, by the time we were driving back on Monday or whatever it was, I was like, I just want everyone to feel the pain I'm feeling right now. And
Oh, dude, yeah, that was. Ugh. And that was like, man, yeah. It's last year was okay.
hmm
I mean, I was like riding the high of like winning so much at Legion, and like, I was feeling pretty good. And then like I bought actually, it's on my shelf back here. Maybe sometime we'll play the stupid Shovel Knight game that I.
Oh
like,
yeah,
I glossed and I sad bought Shovel Knight. I'm like the guy. I see this same guy at every con. He's like, yeah, I'm the developer. I'll sign your box. I'm like, I already signed the goddamn box. Give me that model. That's like, I don't want any more of your bullshit, man. Give me that like.
I
nice
love
model.
developers that are so enthusiastic about what they've done.
Oh yeah, he's a fun guy. Like, don't get me wrong, he's not a bad guy, but I'm like, yeah, man, I got the spiel. Just give
Right.
me the toys.
But like, if we're being honest, right? Maybe half the people that play these games give 2 shits who actually developed the game.
oh yeah,
Like the
no, I'd
person,
say-
like they care about the company. Like they'll go,
Yeah.
like what we just did with that Star Wars deck building game, right? We're like, FFG did it, but no, there's a guy or gal that actually developed it, like that did the work for it, and I don't know who that is until I get the box. And just
Yep.
because we're in the business that we're in, we actually read and look at the box. But like 50 to 60% of the people do
Oh, I
not
would say
care.
That's low. I'd
Yeah.
say it's like.
I'm in at conventions.
5%.
In the real world,
Oh, yeah.
real world, it's much lower. But
Yeah, it's
like, I don't know. Do you know who did Ticket to Ride? Because I don't.
I know it's from Days of Wonder.
Right.
Yeah, it's the guy. The guy got the only. There's only like a few games. Like Richard Garfield.
Yep.
Who did Magic and did everything else. Stonemeyer because he
Yep.
did Scythe and Wingspan.
Alex Davey.
Alex Davey, yeah, Alex Davey because he's like my favorite current game developer.
Yep.
And then like Luke Eddy, like I only know his name though, to be 100% honest, because he was with Legion, and we were close with Legion when FFG was around.
Yeah.
Right. So like I only know him there. I wouldn't have known, otherwise.
Yep.
But no, it's like, man, yeah, it's funny, right? Like, because you should bring your little game you made. We just played
Cubicle
last week.
Raiders.
Cubicle Raiders, yeah.
All right.
You should bring it. See if you can like sell a copy and like sign it or something.
You
Like,
got
you want me to sign? Like, I am the guy who made this game. Would you like me to sign it for you? $20, and I'll.
Dude, nobody
Oh.
cares about that game.
Hey, pal, we care about that game.
Nobody cares. We played it on stream. No one cared. Everyone
No
was
one
bored with it. We didn't sell any. No one
I
gives
didn't
a-
sell it. No
Nobody
one cares. No
cares.
one likes my art.
Everyone
I'm an
just-
artist.
Everyone just hates me.
I just made the Statue of David. No one cares. If I put an anime girl on it,
Yeah.
everybody would click. Nothing
Everyone's
here.
gonna love it afterwards, right? Like once I die.
Yeah. Once I'm dead, everyone's like, "Wow, Cubicle Rangers was this unsung masterpiece."
Yeah, man. Whoever made
Wow.
this, I want to. You know what? I want to get this box signed by him. Oh, he's dead. Bummer.
Well,
Oh well.
shucks.
I'm
Oh
gonna.
well.
I'm gonna play Wingspan.
I'm gonna out uses it to prop the table up. That was like, oh, there we go. This table's been a bit wobbly. I
Yeah.
guess. Put a stack of cards underneath the salt packet. But yeah, no. It's the con's gonna be like, Adepticon's gonna be weird because I want to win. Like that's why I'm going. I want to keep going, but like, I just want to do other stuff. I'm like, hey, what's this small miniature game you're selling? Yes, please tell me about it because you're the kind of guy. You're the guy who's making it. You're out there selling it, so you're passionate about it, and that's what I feed off of. Like I don't feed off of like when a big company comes up and they hire guys to like sell their game, right? Like CMON or something. Like, oh, these people don't really work for CMON. They're just there to like, they've got a script they read. Look, nothing against them.
No,
Nothing against them. They have script. They know, so they know the big hitter points. But like, I want to meet the guy who made the game at these, right? Like that's, you could feel the different energy.
Yes.
And so, like, these little games are just like struggling to survive. Like those are the games I want to play. Man, even like a Warlord's big, right? But we had the guy on a long time ago, John, I believe.
Yeah.
He was a super cool dude, man.
He's great.
I remember he wrote the Pacific book, or he co-wrote it. And I remember afterwards, this like still really hit me where I lived. He was like, I'm like, oh yeah, my grandfather fought in the Pacific. He's like, oh, what unit? I didn't know off the top of my head. I'm like, I don't remember. He was a rifleman. He was like kind of a stud. Like he had all these awards and everything. Yeah. And he's like, you tell me what his platoon was, and I'll make a stat sheet for him. And I'm like, you will? Like, you what? Like,
yeah.
But that's like the kind of like cool, like you don't get that with like GW.
That's
right. You don't get that with like the bigger games.
Well,
like,
and I think
the small stuff.
You know, if you guys have been listening and like heard our interview with Mythic America's guys, and
they're super nice. They're super cool.
Mythico Studios and Jason there from Bushido, like
Bushido, super cool.
You know, these smaller studios can do like a lot cooler custom stuff, and like I really want to support them. I just think the problem is twofold, threefold. I think it's marketing, right? Like they just don't have the budget to like get in our face like these other, you know, because a lot of these games are owned by conglomerates like Asmodee or Cool Mini, right? And like, and then so you know, they don't have the marketing to get in our face. I think two, just my 2 cents, and this isn't a knock against anybody's game, is I don't think, because you could say the same thing about, you know, Stormtide that we do, or Cubicle Raiders. Like, we don't get the cycles as far as like game testing and like game testers, because we can't afford to wait to put it out, right? Like we need to put it out. Like you look at a game like Onslaught or something like that from WizKids, it's been developing for like years, right? And then it finally comes out after all this development and marketing and money put into it, you know. But most of the small guys are just doing it yourselves and trying to like put the money together to like hire a decent artist that can like do the artwork stuff, you know. And it's so when they get a final product and they're at a show talking about the game that they made, and you can see their vision through the art and the design and the, you know, I understand why that's exciting.
It's man, Bushido's so cool. It's like, oh hey, you won the tournament, this happens to your favorite character, or you get to write the next, like, give us a plot point and we'll spin the story that way. And like, that's awesome. Like you know what happens when you win Worlds at Legion or like GW? Nothing. Like, you know, like just keep the machine moves on. You know, you will be forgotten in a year unless you keep like
I think like, if I remember correctly, I don't want to talk out of school here, but if I remember correctly, they weren't even going to do much with like some of the winners after worlds and stuff, and then they finally did articles with FFG, right? Like
Yeah.
they had the stream, right, and
Yep.
they brought all the worlds
Like the top 8.
play
Yeah.
the top 8 to the FFG studio
Headquarters
headquarters in Minneapolis. That was all great, and they did the live stream, right? But
Yep.
and I think Alex did like an interview with Luke Cook, you know, at
Yeah.
the end or something. But like, yeah, that's it.
Yep.
And then,
All
but
right. See ya.
and that's like that's great, and I'm still
Yeah.
kind of like that's it, you know. But that
Yep.
was more than anybody else has ever done, you know.
I miss the golden years of X-Wing, which was when you won an event, you won Worlds. They let you make a card. Like you give them the idea, and they would have to put like they'd have to tone it in. You couldn't just make something
Yeah.
nuts. But that's cool because you can say like, "Hey, that's my card." Oh, you're playing with that card that I made. That's the world champion's card he made. You're like, there's something to that, and it's so small and so like not a big deal. Like in the same of like having to make something. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna make new rules and cards anyway." So why don't you make
Right.
Jango Fett or whatever, right? Like just say like give us some stats, give him one cool ability, like it came from you, and like that's very small potatoes, and just to say, oh, I made Jango Fett,
Yeah.
like I won,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
let me
yeah,
make
yeah.
Jango Fett, like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
really cool, right? And it's like, yeah, no, that's sick. But these smaller companies, they can do that. I remember L5R, the card game, was actually like every time whatever faction won, it affected the story of the game, and like different things would come into power, different sets would change. And I remember one year it was like the undead deck, like the demon deck, was really good. And they said if it won the world tournament, they're going to destroy the rings. That's what they want to do. Yeah, and that was really big. So everyone, like people who wanted to keep the rings alive, decided not to play
Yeah.
the best meta thing in order to preserve the rings. Like, 'cause they wanted to keep the story going. So they built these like crazy decks that were Crane and Crab and like Lion, like just stop Undead from winning. Even though Undead was just the obvious choice to play if you want
Yep.
to win. I'm like, that's amazing.
Yep.
Because then you got people like fighting for a cause, right, in your game. Like they're trying to keep it going because they love the game. Like it's different than like, oh, you won, here's your medal. All right, next year, here's a new round of tournaments.
Yeah.
Right,
Well, the
let's,
problem
crown the guy.
is, right, and I don't want to say this because we don't know 100%.
Yeah.
But like for instance, with Worlds for Legion, you know, AMG's not running it really. Like
Yeah,
it's they,
no, yeah.
you know, it's like LJ is gonna be the judge, and then John Griffin's gonna be the TO. Like it's guys that
Yeah.
have been doing this for
Yeah.
other events, right? Like it's just the regular guys. And oh, is that a Modelo?
It is Modelo Black.
Oh, that's my favorite.
I'm
Did I tell you that?
You did. And
Yeah.
I bought them actually.
And they're good, aren't they?
They're very good.
Yeah. So you couldn't. Okay, tangent. You
Modelo?
years and years ago, 10, 12, 15 years ago, I traveled a lot for work. I was the head of a marketing department, and so I was traveling all over for work. And I always loved going down south because Modelo is a Mexican beer, I believe, or it was. I don't, you know, it
Yes,
could have been
it
bought
still
out.
is,
It could
yeah.
have been bought out by somebody else, but and so you could only get it down south. So like whenever I went to California or Texas or Florida or like any of the southern states, you could get Modelo, and I loved Modelo Black. And so wasn't till recently that they started doing like import beers up here in New York at at the grocery stores, you know. And so or maybe Modelo got much bigger and was able to get distribution, but like you couldn't get it up here. And so like I would always like, that was like nothing else, not the work I was doing or like the fantastic place I was going. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go get a Modelo like first thing I do when I get off this plane.
Dude, they're good.
Yeah.
To stay on the Modelo topic for just 2 seconds longer, we've got this great Mexican place downtown, and I was taken out there. We did like a big work dinner, so work was paying for it. So all the other IT guys from our European team are, I'll call them sport drinkers. They're really good at drinking, and they really like it. So they're like, the guy was like, English is like their third language. So they're like, what do you drink here? And then the waitress was like, oh well, Modelo's like the popular bill. Like, give us a bucket of Modelo's. And so they brought like a bucket over, just full of these beers, and I'm like, yeah, I'll have one, sure. And I'm like, oh man, this is like better Bud Light.
Yep.
It's like a light beer, the normal one, but like not like still tastes like something. And then you mentioned the black, and then Wegmans has it. And so I bought it's like I don't know, it's like $18 for 12 of the bottles or something. So I got those on your recommendation, and very happy.
Yeah.
But not to cut off too much, you were saying
who cares what I was saying?
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Really.
That's all I can think about now. I'm like, I know what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm going to the store.
Yeah, Wegmans, and they have their beer. You go into the beer cave.
So so everybody knows, because I just realized how much of an alcoholic I sound. Like, I do not drink that often, but
he doesn't
at all. Like, it's something I did in my younger years. But like, I don't know. It's just not interesting to me. I'll have one or two. Like, my brother got married this past summer, and I went hard.
That's a wedding.
Yeah, I went hard to the paint at the wedding.
That's fine.
But then at like one point, there was a couple cases of Corona, and my brother's friend and I, like, somebody go, oh, I know what happened. All right. I'm trying to remember this story because it was funny, but I couldn't remember why. And so, okay. So one of the bride's family members, who we didn't know, was sitting on the case of Corona. And we're like pulling beers out of there and drinking them. And my brother's friend goes, oh man, hey, you probably don't want to sit on that anymore, because we're drinking the beers and you're going to fall. And he goes, no, I ship stuff all the time. Like, this could last with one beer in it, and I'd still be able to sit on it. And it was just like a challenge for us. So we literally just started hammering like the Coronas just to get it so this guy would fall. So, long story short, he could not sit on it with just one beer in it.
Just that one. Yeah, I don't really like. I drink when I podcast because this kind of takes the edge off.
Yeah.
Of like having to
think
beyond. Yeah, honestly, like I flow a little bit better, but that's about it. Like,
yeah,
it's when I go out sometimes.
Yeah, I try not to drink when we're on the podcast because the limited restrictions my brain has for things not to say. The filter, the limited filtration that I have already will really just go away, and then it'll probably be a good podcast, but it may be the last one.
Jay takes one sip. The pyramids were built by aliens, so let's talk about that.
Oh, no, not conspiracy theories, though. You've been hearing all this stuff about the pyramid. Not that they're built by aliens, but all this, like, ancient civilization stuff. Man, it's crazy. That's all starting to come out.
Like, the History Channel was, like...
Ancient aliens?
Actual history, and now it's, like, ancient aliens and conspiracy theories. Like, goddamn.
No, there's, I don't know. It's just super... I'm, like... I'm becoming interested in... It's something I never really cared to like look into or thought about before, but I've just been hearing all these podcasts and like watching these shows and like about these theories that they think that, so we're finding out every day that humans are older than what we originally thought, right? We find something new that like it puts it another like 1,000 years or 10,000 years older than what we thought humans. And so there's a theory going around that like the reason all these pyramids showed up all at the same time in these different, not because of aliens, but that we may have had a different technologically advanced human civilization, different technology than we have today, but a technologically advanced human civilization that was actually wiped out by like a meteorite and a flood that kind of reset us back to like, back to hunter gatherers. And so it could be true. It may not be. It's just super interesting to like hear about. And like, I don't, like nobody really knows how pyramids were made. Like that's the other problem. Like we're like this super advanced society that builds these skyscrapers and like we have airplanes and drones and AI, Chat GPT AI, and like all this crazy stuff, and we're still not like sure how they built the pyramids. Like that is cool. Like that's just an interesting like
Yeah.
question to me. And no, I don't think aliens or anything like that. I just think the potential of like we had some sort of different technology and then got wiped out. Like somebody, one theory I heard was that like they knew. So like if you go to the pyramids and stuff, they have this crazy like. So I went to one of them in Mexico, and they have this like crazy like sound vibration stuff going on with how they built them and where they're placed. So like you could like whisper at this one, like just talk like a normal person in this one area, and like everyone could hear you as if you're sitting next to them. And that's how they used to give like the leaders would give speeches and stuff. And so there's like this theory going around that maybe they had some sort of tools or something that can manipulate sound. And so like I don't know if you've ever seen like those science experiments where they use sound to like levitate things by using certain tones and stuff, that maybe they levitated those big stones for the pyramids with like sound and stuff. Like I was like, oh, I don't know, it's crazy, but it's super interesting to think about. I just like the thought, and like I don't know, this is what keeps me up at night sometimes. It's just like, man, how did they build the pyramids? That's crazy. Like, you know, like, how do we not know? We literally have like the entire world's knowledge in our hands at all time, and we still don't really know how they did that.
It's I think the answer is kind of boring. Probably it's like when you've got, because it turns out that like
millions of slaves or whatever. Yeah.
It's like, well, it turns out they weren't even slaves. Like they're like they got paid, they got vacation. Like they were just like workers. So it's like, all right, put some blocks today, boys. Like, all right, let's go blocks. You know, I'm not saying that's like a fun answer, but it's just like if you got nothing but all this manpower, like probably like figure it out. But but it's also like it's so like staggering to the mind about how like I wouldn't even know how to begin.
Yeah.
Right, and so like that's what's fun to think about. So it's like, man, maybe it was aliens, you know? 'Cause, like, how else would they do it?
Yeah, is it? That's, you know, it's funny. Like, you start thinking about other people, like, you know, Einstein or Mozart or Michelangelo or Van Gogh or like any of these like scientists or artists or like just these geniuses, and you're just like, I'm not even the same species as these guys. Like Like I'm struggling figuring out like a math problem with my kid right now. Like there's some dude that was like, I think I could paint this entire ceiling and make it look like God, and it's like,
what?
Like I'm struggling with 5 times 5 right now, man. Like,
well, yeah, it's just like you know, it's funny because it used to be like being a philosopher was like a job.
Yeah.
Right. It was just like you would just go and be like, no, I'm just like I have big ideas and I teach people to like think outside the box, kind of, and like think of it like Plato and like that one dude who was just like lived as like a straight hermit.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, I'm not gonna look it up too much time, but like Alexander the Great, it's like said something to him, it's like, I want you to work for me, and he's like just laying in the grass, just like, you're in my light, get out of my way.
Yeah.
It's like, so he moved, and it's like, he's like, I'm Alexander the Great, you know, like, what do you mean? He's like, I don't care. He's just like the going theory is he was like one of the longest living people back then. He just decided to die. He's like, I'm good.
Yep.
I've done everything I want to do. I'm just gonna clock out now. All right, pachunk. But yeah, it's just like, it's just crazy how like that doesn't really exist like that anymore. Like it's
strange.
It's just kind of different. But anyway, games.
No.
We hit our no.
I like. You know what? Maybe we should make this a thing where it's just the end of each podcast. We have like a 10-minute section where you or I can just go off on some insane topic that
I'm down with that.
We're thinking about. You know.
Yeah, that's good. We can do well, you need to make a little script next time. So you'd be like, all right, well, you see here in this Mayan drawing, he's working a spaceship. How would he know how to do that? Like, I'm just saying, the facts are starting to add up.
Man, it's just like, it's wild. Like, you know, it's so funny. I have 0 thoughts or interest or even like consider aliens being real or ghosts or anything like that. Like, not, it doesn't even register as something that I should like think about or could be concerned about. But I'm like obsessed with this like thought that there is some like advanced technological civilization that we had here that just got wiped out. You know, 'cause that,
Atlantis?
yeah, like Atlantis. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like that's the whole thing. There's these guys saying now that they don't think Atlantis is in the Atlantic Ocean where everybody thinks it is. They actually think it's in Africa. In one of
I
these,
heard that,
yeah,
yeah.
they found like they're showing these pictures and drawings of it and stuff. It's, or not drawings, but like satellite pictures of it, and it like matches to descriptions from Plato and Socrates and stuff. I was just like, that interests me way more, and it seems way more plausible than aliens or ghosts. I just don't have any tolerance for those
You
two
mean you don't
things.
think ghosts built the pyramids?
Maybe, you know what? Maybe that was the technology that they had, that they could wrangle ghosts
We
and
got
make them do it.
millions of dead dudes.
Yo, bro,
Just
just
figure it
float that rock up there, dog. Like, no. All right. Do I have to put the collar on you? Do you want do you want to get the
Who's got
hose?
the rattle chains out again? Who's rattling chains around here? We're done with that. Come on.
It puts the rock up there or it gets the hose. Stupid ghost.
Ghosts, yeah, you guys work for peanuts, man. They don't do nothing right.
Stupid ancient ghosts. Anyways, there's a video. There's a game we could make, a board game.
There you go. You control spooky
Yeah.
ghosts.
And
but,
trap and control ancient ghosts to build the pyramid for you. And whoever's team builds the pyramid the fastest wins the game.
There you go.
Done.
Whatever. 4-player competitive machine built, like was it engine building, worker placement.
Yeah.
Like,
But
you
it's
know, the big
ghosts.
buzzwords.
Yeah.
It's ghosts. And you can make your little wood cutouts, like little, like the marshmallow ghosts, like the two eyes, like
Yeah.
the blanket. You're just moving them around. Hey, look.
Yeah, and we call it Ancient Ghost Pyramid of Gozer.
I am the keymaster.
Oh, I love
Are you
Ghostbusters.
the gatekeeper?
Such a good
I didn't
movie.
get that innuendo until I was like older.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh. Well, wink.
yeah,
Oh, Rick Moranis, you dog.
man. Anywho. Well, we did it.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Because I just sense myself going off on some pretty insane tangents here, so it's
Look,
probably
save it for next week.
Yeah,
We
it's
need
probably
that
time.
energy.
Then to wrap it up. We started talking about Ghostbusters, and I got a whole line of conversation about that too.
Save it. We'll put a pin in it.
Well, all right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to the replay. Send in any comments on here on the YouTube channel or on Twitch of things you want us to talk about in the future. Any games you'd like us to check out. We are looking for games to play and talk about. And I swears in the future that we'll only keep the last 5 to 10 minutes of insane stuff. All right. The rest of the podcast will be about games.
And we'll see.
Or maybe, you know what? If we don't get enough viewers, at some point I may just shift this entire podcast into just something insane. So
It's just us doing research. Everybody, well, if you use Google Maps and you zoom in right here, look, why is it blocked out? Why is it blocked out? They
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
They know. They know we know.
Evan, we gotta go. We gotta do this podcast
We
remote.
gotta go. We gotta go on site.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
All right. Thanks, everybody.